Stop to Sell is a space where Eduardo welcomes guests from various areas, he analyzes various topics, and establishes an action plan. The expression better done than perfect is typical. On the other hand, there are professionals who collect and analyze a lot of data before making a decision. Eduardo suggests you take an hour to think about your activity, prospecting methods, identifying needs, closing deals, following up with clients, and establishing partnerships. Eduardo is counting on you.
I think that companies, anyone or companies or personal brands, once we spoke about it too, should have a concrete message and purpose. So this is the first step, but they need to clarify to the market. They need to clarify the promise. They need to share information with a transparent way, what the brand truly guarantees to or solve to the market. They need to create a consistent speech and patterns.
Welcome to another episode of Stop to Sell. This is a space where we explore how trust, emotion, and the neuroscience shape real business performance. Because selling doesn't begin with persuasion. It begins with understanding how people think, feel, and decide. Today, conversation is about something that slightly influences every commercial interaction: trust. Not as a slogan, not as a promise, but as a neuro-emotional response in the mind of the consumer. Our guest today works at the intersection of branding, psychology, and business strategy. She helps leaders and companies build brands that don't just attract attention. They create safety, coherence, and credibility. I'm very pleased to welcome Catarina Ribeiro, founder of Brainding. Catarina, welcome to the Stop to Sell. It's a pleasure to have you with us. How are you, Catarina?
Hi, Eduardo. I'm fine. Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today in a sunny day. And it's also a pleasure to share more about neuroscience with you and your followers, especially in this field about how neuroscience can help people to understand better the behavior and how the brands and individuals can understand the behavior in order to have better performance, better communication, to provide better products and services to their clients. I think it's a conversation with a lot of purpose.
Yes.
So I'm very happy to be here with you speaking about this topic.
Catarina, thanks a lot. I appreciate your work and your posts in LinkedIn, as we have already opportunity to talk about. You are specialized in neuroscience applied in consumption, communication, and marketing. You are the president and founder of APN. How could I translate? Let me see. Neuromarketing Portuguese Association. And you are also founder of the Brainding, a company where you develop models and interventions based on neuroscience, right?
That's it. So Brainding, it's an agency that brings neuroscience into the universe of brands.
Okay.
Especially in marketing and communication. And also the idea is to have on this field and in context of the brands, real context to give to the neuroscience information and insights about how people decide in real
Okay.
context. So I think it's a win-win situation. This is the main purpose of branding and also of APN, the association.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Catarina, and thanks for this important work that you bring to the market. So, Catarina, how did your interest in the relationship between the brain, mind, and the decision making begins?
Well, this is an interesting question because all my work and professional path, I always find that when we did a couple of campaigns or communication in agencies, the creative agencies where I worked, and in the client side too, in companies, there was always the same question: how people decide, and why should I put this kind of information in a campaign, comparing with other kind of information? How can I design, or how do we design the campaigns? And all these questions were answered by the team and the brainstormings that we did. And I thought that this was for the market. Once we were only having information from the team, and it was very limited in terms of the all information that the market can provide to us. So what happened was, if I understand what we should do and design, because we are discussing this in a limited group, this can be helpful, or this can be directed to a couple of people on the market. So we need to understand the other part of the market. We need to understand the whole market. And we, as a person, as a group, as a team, we don't have the whole information. So we search a lot of information to give us the basis to the strategy. But this information is related to questionnaires, to answers, and to the market, to focus group, to traditional tools of the marketing nowadays. And when I realized that this kind of information were limited, and actually people have more reactions that sometimes they don't know how to answer and how to identify, I realized that it was important to go deeper into this question. And I found neuroscience. In the beginning, I found neuromarketing. And I started to study a lot what neuromarketing is. And then I found, well, neuroscience is the main science behind the behavior. And
I agree.
Much more I studied, much more I found, and I realized, well, the marketing tools and the traditional marketing tools were not enough to understand the behavior. And that's the reason why I started to understand that it were very important for brands and for companies and for the clients too, to understand what drive the decisions, and how to take some noise from the campaigns, to give the right message with the right direction, without noise in the middle of this communication between brands and clients. And that's what drives me for this field, and to study every day about this topic, and to understand much more how can I be a part of this process, bringing the neuroscience into companies and from companies to the market.
Trying to
that's
find
what drove me.
Yes, trying to find the roots of the decision making, right? Well, Catarina, what is the biggest mistake companies make when they are building their brand today? What do you think it is the biggest mistake?
Mhm. I believe that brands sometimes confuse communication with branding. Posting a lot or communicate a lot is not the same as building meaning. So companies should have a message and should have a purpose, and they should not exist to have money from the clients, but they should exist with the purpose to solve an issue on the market. So, and this should be very clear, should be very clean, and they need to clarify this to the market for the market to understand, okay, I really need this brand in my life because this brand will solve something that I need to solve. If the brands don't have this kind of purpose, well, it will be harder to sell or to have a success, and is not the communication frequency that will solve their lives in terms of company or brand's life. They need to have really interesting for clients to be on their lives on the market. Most companies talk, but they don't position. So they really need to share the correct message with transparency, the most transparency that they have. And sometimes this doesn't happen. So if it doesn't happen, it will be one more brand on the market. So
Okay.
it's the same between brands if they don't have any purpose or any solution and real solution for the market. That's what I believe.
Okay, I never thought of that before. The difference between just communicating or communicating the purpose. And it's strange because we are now in a noisy world where we think that we just need to communicate every day, every single hour. And well, that is a thing that I never thought before. Thanks a lot, Catarina, about that insight. So
You're welcome.
why does trust usually emerge before logic? Why do you think this happen?
Okay. I would like to go for the last question and your feedback, because I think it's important to understand why this can be confused to say communicate more and more and more and every day. It's good, and why I'm speaking about the opposite. It's only because when you say a lot and you say nothing, you will not pay attention. You will pay attention. You will be in the consumer's mind, but actually, it's only entertainment, because it's only, or it's noise, or in a case of success is entertainment. It can be, but in the end, it's only a presence that gives nothing to the other side. So nowadays we are being impacted with a lot of stimuli. We are completely full of information, and we go tired at home. At the end of the day, we feel that time is passing a lot, and super quick. So when you have the window to speak with your client or to the market, it's important to say something that really that is relevant for your market, your client. Because if you don't say nothing, you can say every day. The only thing is that you will have the attention for a short period of time of a lot of people, but you will not be in the memory of these people. So what happened is you get the attention to the public, but you will not be in the memory of these people next week or next month, because you are not connecting with them. You are not creating a relationship. You are only saying something. And if this something is not important for that or relevant for that, they will forget. They will be entertained. That is relevant too, but it depends on how you do the content. Or you will be to the end of the algorithm. So I believe
I'm not making the difference. Yes. And here is the point. It is making the difference. And making the difference, of course, in a good way, to being the memory for the positive things.
And the memory you will build with a couple of things that involves emotion, that involves the benefits that you provide to your public, that will impact the emotions, the recognition of the problem, the relaxation about having a solution. And I think these topics will give us the permission to go to the next question that you asked me about the trust and how the trust. I thought your question was how trust should be.
Why trust usually emerge before logic?
That's it. That's the reason. It's because when you have, I usually use a funnel that give us the perception. Let's try to imagine the funnel, okay? And on the top you have the large part of the funnel, and this is the attention moment. It's the first connection with something, with a stimuli. That can be a logo, that can be an advertising on TV, that can be something about the brand. And what happened is you can do a lot of strategies to have more attention or to get more attention for your public. So you will have a great part of the market giving you attention. And this should pass. So this is an automatic response of our brain. So we pay attention. We don't control it. We only pay attention. We don't choose to pay attention to one thing or another. If you listen a huge noise or a high noise, you will pay attention to that. It's impossible to not pay attention to that. Or if super strong light just show in your front, and when you pass on a store, you will pay attention too. So it's really important to understand that we do not control the attention that we pay to the stimuli that is surround us. It's automatic, and it's the first step of the interaction between clients or people with the stimuli. What happened next is that attention drives us the direction of the attention to something, and then this stimuli will provide us a reaction that can be fear, that can be enthusiasm, that can be happiness, that can be nothing. Okay, it's only something that is neutral in my life. And what happened is our brain understands if the stimuli that gives us the awareness, it's a threat or it's something that is not it's good to understand. That's it. So what happened is this second part is also a reaction of our body and the brain, and this reaction is emotions that we don't control. So we only react, and this reaction can be, for example, the contraction of muscles. For example, our faces, we have expressions that we don't control. if we want to do something like a smile or do a bad face or a sad face, you can do it. But there are micro expressions that will not activate consciously. I don't know. I'm not saying this word correctly. Yeah.
Don't worry.
And what happened is, we want to do this micro expressions activation, but we can't do. So this is only a reaction in a subconscious way. That's why we can understand if sometimes people or someone, we don't know exactly why, but someone doesn't give us trust. There's something there because the reaction or the reaction is not
It's the basic and the universal emotions by Paul Ekman, right?
Exactly. There are a couple of micro expressions already identified, but sometimes we don't identify in a conscious way. So what happened is, this is, I spoke about micro expressions, but we also have dilatation of the pupil. We have the heartbeat in a faster movement. We have the temperature changes of our body. We don't control that. And these are emotional reactions. So these happen in a reaction to a stimuli. And then what happens is, we identify or we start to understand what these kind of reactions related to the stimuli can should be, or what is that we can realize or not. If the valence of the emotion, and the valence is the intensity and the arousal and valence, the intensity and the positively or negatively valence of the emotion, we will identify this consciously. If the stimuli is not relevant for us, we can pay attention, but nothing happens after. So what happens is, trust is in the middle of this part of the process that starts in the subconscious way. We identify what is conscious, what is consistent, what is a threat or not, and we can identify this in a subconscious way. And then we try to argument if this is real or not, or if there are other signals that can be that are consistent with what is our perception, the main perception, or not. So trust is a feeling that is provided by the emotional reaction to a stimuli.
Okay.
That's how that I think that's how I answered the question.
And you answer in a brilliant way, Catarina. Look, sometimes...
Okay, thank you.
No, you don't need to thank. Look, sometimes I feel that companies fail a lot because, well, sometimes when you are going to visit the culture of the companies in their website, it is perfect, okay? But when we have sales conversations with that companies, we can't find that culture in that sales conversations. But there are also, I think, and it is a problem, and it is, well, sometimes you can't find that in the culture website, okay? But you can find in the sales conversations, you can find in that sales conversations the trust, the trying to find the solution for the customer, the sustainable way, and well, it is here where I'm trying to go. Do they fail more in the positioning or sales conversations with the customers or the clients?
Okay, I think it's important to understand that depends on the company and how they are working, but it's more possible to fail in positioning. Okay, because when positioning is weak, and it's important to well define, and I think this answer will link to the answer that I did before, regarding the message and the clarification of the positioning and the purpose of the company. Because when positioning is weak, selling becomes heavy. Okay. So a strong positioning, comparing with prepares the ground. Okay. So if you are coherent, if you are transparent, if you are clear and clean, if your message is consistent, you have or you are building a good or a strong positioning. And if you have a strong positioning, sales simply harvest. So it happens because you have the background, and when you are doing the communication to sell, it will happen because you built before the positioning, and the positioning will have probably built a bridge between the client, the market, and the company. Okay. And people feel safety. People feel that it's predictable what to expect from the brand, from the company. They will feel that buy with this company will be okay, will be safety. So, but it depends not on the conversation of the seller, but on the background that the company built before during a long period or a huge period. Because you can imagine a relationship with someone. In the first moment, you have feelings or sensations or perceptions about this person, but you don't trust on this person to say all the topics or the problems that you have, all the issues of your life. So you built a relation with this person based on what is the message and the body language of this person that makes you feel confident on that, and safety on this relationship. So you start to feel that you are that you can trust. Okay. So this becomes with time and with consistency of the message. Okay. That's
the point. That's the consistency I'm trying to ask between the brand positioning and how the employees after talk that values, because sometimes there are a split between these two topics. Okay. But I completely agree with you, Catarina. Well, today everyone is a brand. Okay. You are a brand, I am a brand, Stop to Sell is a brand. Do you feel that nowadays, the personal brand, do you think this is an opportunity or this is a risk?
Well, I think it will be both. So it can be an opportunity for people that have, again, a clear message and a clear purpose, and have coherence during the process of their communication. But it can be also a risk, because if the message is nothing or the purpose is not well identified, will confuse visibility with authority. So it will start to have probably not so well interpreted by the market. So it can be both, I think. It's an opportunity for those that have a great message to share, or a risk for them to be exposed to the market. But nowadays we have a lot of people communicating at the same time, so sometimes it's also it depends on who is listening you, and there are market for everything, so it can be entertainment. I think it's the worst part is if nothing happens, it can happen entertainment. So that's not so bad.
Okay. Well, like you said before, it will be important if you communicate a proposal, not just expositioning, not just being there, but communicate a proposal and help or support a cause or people. Trina, you have your own company, Brainding, where you offer different service to the market. Can you share what kind of service you can offer to the companies? I see your consulting and neurostrategy. What are the service you are offering?
Okay, so what do we usually offer, or we are asked to give some consultancy to understand what is the main issues of the company, and how they can improve their communication to the market. So what we do is we go to the literature that exists with information about neuroscientific approach to understand how can we give this information to the companies in a consultancy way. And this is one of the services. So what we can do is also to provide a research model completely designed for the companies, for each company. So we go deep with the client, in this case with companies, to understand what they are looking for to improve, or how they can build a better communication, or a new product, or a branding, or a rebranding. So the universe of the company and the brand. And what we do is, or we go with the consultancy and we give insights that become from previous research and the investigations that can be applied to the company. Or we can do the research customized to the company with a specific question, so with a specific problem and goals. We go to the lab, or we go to the store, or we go to the company, and we design a protocol completely customized to the company to understand the question, the answer to the question that they need to answer. It can be in terms of communication with the client. So imagine how to improve this product that already exists to have an increase in sales. So we go to the store, we understand, or it can be online or offline. We understand the product, and we compare with other products, and we design different types of the same product in terms of image to have the comparison between different ways to get the attention of the client. And then we explore the emotional response, the perception, and the conscious answer. But also we get the physiological and the neurophysiological responses to that stimuli that we prepared. And then in the end, we analyze the information, the data that is provided through the neuroscientific tools like EEG, electroencephalography, electrocardiography, eye tracker, galvanic skin response.
Okay.
So what happened is we get this data, and we can do it in a lab context or in a store context. And then we go to the analysis of this information, and we understand what kind of product and design of the product can be more impactful, with more meaning for the customer. And then we go with outputs, with information to the companies with a report for their teams to improve or the design or the communication of the product of the company. This can be transversal to anything of the company. And then we have another service that is this part of the next step of the investigation. Once sometimes companies has not the possibility to do by their teams, we can do internally in branding this design and these adjustments on the brand, products, service, or communication in different kind of support. Then we have another topic that is the training. So we go to the companies, usually with the topic neuromarketing. We have workshops that is shorter. We have 15 hours of training, and we have also deeper information and deeper training with companies. Now we have not only neuromarketing, but also neuroscience applied to communication. And this is a new service that we are providing. That is it's to understand how people behave in the companies and as an individual into a team. But we go in a deep way. We go with questionnaires and data, physiological and neurophysiological data collection to understand what is the main pattern of their communication in an individual way. We understand and we define a profile. And then what happens is we don't share this individual profile with companies. We only share the group analysis with companies, but then we go, we work with the collaborators in an individual way for them to adjust the way that they communicate, and in order to be more to match with the team in a more with more flow. To have better environments, to have better performance, to have more success in their work day. So what happens is we go to a pattern of the communication that is specific from people, from one to one, not to identify errors or issues. No, it's to identify specific patterns and to understand in that kind of company how this can be helpful, how this can be increased, how this can block their communication. And we go in a intervention mode week by week and month by month, working together with each one, with psychologists, trainers, like the work that you do. And what we do after is we complement with neurofeedback and neuromodulation. It's a complementary way to consolidate all the things that is on the step, on the previous step, and then we monitorize the success, the success response to this protocol that we implement on the companies. And the final result that we expect is better communication, better work, teamwork, more success, better environment, less stressful environment. And we use neuroscientific technology to improve communication between people into the companies, not only from companies to the market, but also from companies to companies.
Are you able to work only in Portugal or also abroad?
Thank you for this question, Eduardo. We are now able to go around the world once we are using a new technology that we developed. That is the remote lab, and we give a link to a couple of people that can be regarding a study, or that can be on this kind of approach specifically for companies. And through the link, we are able to get information, physiological data from the webcam. Of course, we inform each individual. They know exactly what is happening, and it's all transparent and clear. We get data from the webcam that we analyze after the moment of the data collection. And what happened is we are able to understand some reactions to some couple of questions that allows us to design a profile of this person and work directly with companies that are not based in Portugal. So this is truly amazing, because it allows us to help more companies and more people to increase their communication and to have more success and better environments in companies.
Fantastic. Look, Catarina, can you share a real case where branding transformed the business results?
We are working with a couple of companies. It's important to know that we are not allowed to share the name of the companies.
Of course.
What we have in hands is the perception of the behavior in stores. So what we do is to understand the behavior when people go to the store, and what drives them to buy a specific product that, in a real case, it's a hard product to sell in terms of value and perception and price. So we understand what is the main drivers and agents that drive the decision making process. So in some cases, what we found, and specifically is not speaking about brands, but speaking about results and findings. What we found is price is relevant, of course, but the emotional reaction is, or the emotional link and relationship is, the best for brands to create memory on with their clients. We are also finding in each studies that we do. We are always watching that people say something in a conscious way. But then when we analyze data, usually is not the same answers that we find from with the neuroscientific tool. So what happened is, and this is happening a lot, people try to argument and identify what they feel, what they remember, try to identify concepts regarding products and brands, and then when we see when we analyze the data from the studies, we understand that is not that the perception is not correct. And this happened specifically in a study that we did last year with the parfum bottles. We designed different parfum bottles without brands, specifically to understand the shape, the texture, the opacity, the transparency of the bottle, and the color. And we asked people to say to us if they would buy the product or not, and what kind of what kind of agent drove that decision. If was the color, if was the transparency, if was the
shape.
And people answer different in a different ways, of course, between them. But and in the end, we found that people realized that transparency, for example, was super relevant on their decision. And then we cross information with data with the neuroscientific tools like the eye tracker and galvanic skin response and the EEG. And what we found is that transparency is not relevant. What is relevant is color and shape, but specifically color. But people also understood by their perceptions that transparency was also relevant. So it's very interesting to understand in different studies. What we find is that people say something that in the end is not so real. So this is a proof of that traditional marketing tools that are based on this kind of implicit and observational answers is not the whole information that we need to understand what really happens in terms of the behavior of the consumer. We have also another case that we did with it was a analysis of a rebranding, the perception of the new logo, and we also found that the new logo and the communication was completely it was more clear and consistent. So there was more people were more close and empathic with the brand after that rebranding, because the new brand and the new logo was more consistent and more related with their message. So this consistency from the design, the image, and the message was more coherent and more clean, and this provides a better or a more positive emotion for the clients. It was very interesting too. And I think that I'm trying to remember something more, but I think in terms of insights can be helpful to bring this kind of information regarding these two studies.
You remember me a book? I don't know if you know her. It is Melina Palmer.
I think I don't know.
Okay, I can change the LinkedIn profile with you. She is a behavioral psychologist in the United States, and she has a book. She wrote a book called "What the Customers Think and Can't Tell You." And while you are talking about your experience in the perfumes bottles, I remember the title of that book. I can share later with you the book, okay?
It's I think it's the most interesting part of this field is to understand that people say something and they say what they want to say, they need to say, they think they know, but in the end we really need this kind of physiological and neurophysiological information to understand what is happening in terms of behavior, because we don't know exactly what happened, because it's in the subconscious way, and the decision-making process happens there. So we don't know exactly why we buy, how we feel. We try to explain after, and if someone asks, or if we need to identify. But in the end, it's very important to have conscience about this. We really have more information and more real information about what really happens to our clients if we use neuroscientific tools and the neuroscientific approach.
Okay. Well, saying another book title, we are predictably irrational.
Exactly.
So, Catarina, we are finishing our chat, our episode, and well, at the end, I always try to define an action plan for the salesperson that are listening us. So, what are three concrete actions any company can take to build a brand the brain trust?
I believe, regarding what we were discussing during the last minutes, I think that companies, anyone, or companies or personal brands, once we spoke about it too, should have a concrete message and purpose. So this is the first step, but they need to clarify to the market. They need to clarify the promise. They need to share information with a transparent way, what the brand truly guarantees to or solve to the market. They need to create a consistent speech and patterns. So and should be not say something and do other. So this should be in the same level, or companies should say one thing and do that thing, and not the opposite, because sometimes this brings distrust and confusion. So the message is this one, but the brand do something different. This is not consistent. So it should be in a pattern and consistent way, and the message should be there, and what the message is should be the same that what the company does. And reduce friction. So reduce the information and the noise, and make the experience more simple, more clear, more clean. Simplify. Do not give a lot of information to say something. Just this is another topic, is try to say a lot of things in a couple of words, in only a sentence. It's very hard to do it, but it's much better for the public to do not feel with a lot of
overwhelming.
Exactly. I was missing that that word. So and also to reduce the risk of not understand the message in a wrong way. Try to be more human and more predictable to people. People want to know that it's predictable. It's they know what they know what they will find in the brand, and do not have surprises or something that they need to deal with, because our brain is very I'm missing the word, is lazy. Our brain is lazy. That is good because it's for our protection. If brands put a lot of concepts or different messages and confuse people, it's very hard for people to understand and to bring more energy to try to decodificate what is the real message of the company. So it needs to be clear in your face, like this is it. What you see is what you get. So I think brand positioning in this way, with this free these free topics in mind.
Okay. Catarina, thanks a lot. I love our conversation. What stands out for me is that, like you said, strong brands are not built through noise, pressure, shortcuts. They are built through coherence, consistency, and emotional intelligence too. I love this episode, and thanks a lot, Catarina.
Thank you too, Eduardo. I hope these key topics can help people to communicate better and to create better relationships with their clients and their colleagues too.
I do believe that will help, Catarina. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Eduardo.